Hey guys, welcome back to my channel AG Motion Designs, and in today's video we are going to create this vector animation inside of After Effects with the help of Adobe Illustrator. So if you are new to this channel, then please consider to subscribe this channel and also hit the bell icon to get more updates. So without wasting any more time, let's get started. Okay, so here we are in first of all Adobe Illustrator. I have this illustration file over here. I got this file from freepik.com. Link is available in the description, so you can download it later and you can practice it along with it. Now after that, what I'm gonna do, I'll hit Ctrl A to select all of them, then I'll press Ctrl C to copy this whole illustration. Then I have already created one file over here. Height and width of this file is 1920 by 180, and if you want to create a new file, all you need to do, so simply hit Ctrl N. Then you can adjust the settings over here and you can choose any mode you want, like RGB and CMYK, and then create. But I have already created one, and now after that I'm gonna press Ctrl V to paste it, and by holding Alt Shift I'm going to adjust the size of it like this. Okay, now after that I want each and everything on the separated layer. So for that, what we are gonna do, over here you will get this down arrow, so simply click on it, and as you guys can see, these things are already pretty much on the separate layer. So over here you will get this option called click to target, so simply click on it, go over here and release to layers sequence. Now all of them are converted into layers. By holding shift I'm going to select all of them and I'll move this over here. So now each and everything is on the separated layer, so I'll select this last extra layer and I'll simply delete it like this. Press V for selection tool. Now first of all I'll select this, so right click and choose ungroup. Then we have one this shadow type over here, so I delete it. Then I'm going to zoom in a little bit. I'll select this arrow and I'll hit Ctrl X. I'll create a new layer and I'll press Ctrl Shift V. Now this thing is on the separate layer and this thing is on the separate layer. Now after that, what we are gonna do, we are gonna check each and every layer. So let's try to hide each and every layer, but before hiding that, make sure that they are proper. Like I am going to hide one by one each and everything like this. Now as you guys can see, these clouds are already on the separated layer, so let's stick with that. Now as you guys can see, this thing should be properly arranged, so we will come to that later. So at least for now I'll lock this layer. Then let's check out this. We have some coins over here. For the coins, what I'm gonna do, I'll right click, choose and ungroup. Then again right click, choose and ungroup. Again we will right click, choose and ungroup. We will do that until we will get a proper one selection of a coin. Let's choose ungroup this again. Now as you guys can see, we have proper one selection of all coin, so I'll select this entire coin, not like this, and I'll select let's deselect this thing. Hit Ctrl X, create a new layer, press Ctrl Shift V. I'll call this layer as coin, and I'll select this layer and I'll call it as coin reference. Okay, and let's hide them, so they are already arranged. Then we will hide this one also, this one also, and these lines. So after that, pretty much entire things are on the separated layer, so we don't have to worry about it. Now after that, we have to adjust this one. So over here, as you guys can see, there are separate things, so simply right click and choose ungroup. First of all, I'll select this entire hand, I'll hit Ctrl X, I'll create a new layer and I'll press Ctrl Shift V, and we will hide this. Then we have this bars over here, so by holding shift I'm going to select all of them. Then I'll select the settings icon also, I'll hit Ctrl X, I'll create a new layer and I'll press Ctrl Shift V. Then click on this down arrow. After that, click to target, go over here, release two layers and sequence. By holding shift, select all of them and bring them at the top, and delete the extra layer, which is our layer 13. And then we have this thing. So yep, these things are also on the separate layer, so let's hide them. Now we will focus on this hand, so right click, ungroup, and then I'll select again right click and ungroup. I'll select this, I'll hit Ctrl X, zoom in a little bit, let's select this portion also, hit Ctrl X and then create new layer, press Ctrl Shift V. Let's call this as thumb and hit OK, and let's hide this. Then we will select this portion, I'll hit Ctrl X, new layer and press Ctrl Shift V. I'll call it as sleeves and hit OK. and let's call this as proper hand and hit OK. So this is hand, this is sleeve, and this is thumb. Okay, hit Ctrl 0 to make this complete fit. Now our all things are properly on the separated layer, so now we don't have to worry about anything. So now I'll go to the Adobe After Effects. I'll create a new composition. I'll call it as main animation as always. Width I'm going to choose 1920. Height I'm going to choose 180. Frame rate is 30, and duration we are not going to go much more, so I'm going to choose, let's say, 15 seconds. Sorry, hit Ctrl Z. It's a mistake. Let's choose 1.5 and hit OK. Okay, so duration is 15 seconds long only. Then go to choose grid and guide option and hit title section. I'll press Ctrl I on my keyboard. I'll select this Illustrator file. I'll go to the import as footage, composition, retain layer sizes, and simply hit import. After that, simply bring this layer over here, so we'll get something like this. Let's double click to open this. Now first of all, I'll select I'm gonna deal with each and everything which is related to this laptop. So first of all, let's try to divide each and every section separately. First of all, I'll select these humans, so I'll select them. I'll press Ctrl Shift C to create a pre-comp. I'll call it that human icons and hit OK, and we will hide this and we'll lock this. Then we have this and this on the separate layer, so I'll call it as arrow and hit OK, and let's hide this. Then we have this coins portion over here, this and this. I'll press Ctrl Shift C. I'll call it as coins and hit OK, and let's hide this and lock this. Then we have this extra stuff, and all the things over here are extra, so let's select those extra things like this, 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 and this. Okay, I'll press Ctrl Shift C. I'll call it as extras and hit OK, and they should be at the backward, so I'll bring this over here like this. Let's add this. Let's see what they over here. Select this, hit Ctrl X, double click to this extras and hit Ctrl V. Also check out if anything is remaining. Okay, this is bottom right, so I'll call it as ground and hit OK, and we will hide this and we'll lock all of this. Then we will select this one and I'll press Ctrl Shift C and I'll call it as laptop and I'll hit OK. Let's double click to open this laptop comp. Over here I'm going to separate this hand, thumbs, etc. like this. I'll select all of them like this, and I'll press Ctrl Shift C and I'll call it as hand and hit OK, and hit Ctrl A to select all of them and click on this icon. Double click to open this comp, select this, click. Over here, as you guys can see, I did some mistakes, so select this cloud, hit Ctrl X to cut it and hit Ctrl V. Over here we have to select this hand, hit Ctrl X, double click to open this and hit Ctrl V, and we will bring this after this thumb. Okay, so this is gonna be my hand and this is laptop. So let's try to animate first. So we have this laptop over here. Let's hide all of them first. We will animate this laptop. So select this laptop, press P for position. Let's create one keyframe over here like this. Press Y, and by holding Control, I'll snap this anchor point at the bottom. Then press S for scaling option, create one keyframe. Hit U, go to around, let's say, 20 frames, and let's bring this over here like this. Go to the start, press S, create one keyframe. Hit U, go over here and make this 100. Go to the start and let's make this 0, and select those keyframe and hit F9. So we will get something like this. Then after that, or somewhere around over here, we will bring back our first position. So I'll copy the first position keyframe like this. So if I see, I'll get something like this. Then go few frame forward, again create one keyframe, and in middle of that we will bring this laptop a little bit up like this. So if I see this animation, I'll get something like this. So select all those keyframes, and by holding Alt, I'm gonna drag it up to 1 second like this. Then we will select the position keyframes. We will go to the graph editor. We will select this graph, hold shift, move this handle over here and this handle over here like this. Zoom in a little bit, select this much portion, move this handle over here and this handle over here. Let's see, like this. Then select the scale keyframes, go to the graph, select this, hold shift, move this over here like this. And after this uh, animation, what I want is that my other things like this graph should start to animate and this stuff. So what I'm gonna do, except this uh, settings icon, I'm going to select all of them, and by holding control we need to adjust the anchor point at the bottom. So first of all, I'll bring this downwards. Then I'm going to go to the windows and I'm going to choose animation composer anchor point mover. I'll provide the link of animation composer in the description. It's a free plugin, so you can download it. And over here I'm gonna bring this anchor point at downwards. Go to the start, press S. Let's unleash the scale of each and every one. Let's create one keyframe, go to around 20 seconds, and let's click over here, go to the start, and let's make this 0. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select those keyframe and I'll hit F9. I'll go to the graph editor, I'll select this and I'll move this handle over like this. Okay, so I'll get something like this. Then we have the settings icon over here. I'll press R for rotation. I'll alt click on the stopwatch and I'm going to type time into, let's say, 70. Hit Ctrl A to copy that expression, hit Ctrl C, select this, alt click and hit Ctrl V, alt click, hit Ctrl V like this. Okay, and also in middle of that, instead of plus 70, I'm going to type minus 70 like this. Okay, also select all of this settings, press S. Initially let's make this 0, create one keyframe, go to around 20 seconds, create another keyframe, and let's make this 100 again. Select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph, hold shift and move this handle over here like this. Okay, now as you guys can see, we have some clouds over here. So let's select the scaling animation of the settings. I'll hit Ctrl C, select all of them and hit Ctrl V, select this and hit Ctrl V. Okay, after that we have one hand over here, so I'll select this hand. I'll press P for position. Let's create one keyframe, go to the over here, create another keyframe, go to the start and bring this totally downwards. Select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph and hold shift, move this handle over here, so I'll get this animation. Then double click to open this. We have the sleeves. I'll bring this at the top like this. Select this hand thing over here and bring this anchor point over here. Then select this thumb, bring the anchor point over here, and we will make it apparent with this hand. Now select this hand, hit W to enable your rotation tool. Initially let's rotate it like this, press R for rotation. Let's create one keyframe, go to around few frame forward, let's bring this downwards, go few frame forward, let's move this over here, move this over here, move this over here, move this over here, and then at the end I'll copy first keyframe. Now select those keyframe and hit F9. Now we will select this thumb. Initially let's move this thumb over here, press R for rotation, create one keyframe, again move this over here, move this over here, then select those keyframe and hit F9. So I'll get this kind of stuff. Now alt click on this stopwatch, type loop out expression on it, hit Ctrl A to copy that expression, hit Ctrl C, hit Ctrl V over here, and now we will select this thumb and we will move this a little bit forward and I'll bring this over here. So we'll get this kind of secondary action over here. Let's go over here, so we will get this kind of stuff. Now select all the clouds. I'll press P for position. Let's create one keyframe at the start, go to around, let's say, 10 seconds, and we need to move them over here, go to the start, and we need to bring this back like this. Now all the animation is done. Now all we need to adjust is their timeline. So after the laptop, I want this graph should start animate, so select all of this thing. Let's move this over here, hit page down button one time. Let's move this over here, again hit page down button one time, and we will adjust it like this. Select all of them and let's move this over here. Okay, and if you want then you can select them and you can bring them a little bit forward, so we'll get something like this. Now I'm going to select my rectangle tool and I'll create one rectangle like this. I'll bring this in front of my hand composition. I'll select this, I'll press F4 and I'll select this hand composition and I'll choose alphabet. So if I see this thing now, I'll get this kind of stuff. Okay, now after that let's go to this thing. So our laptop animation is done. Now let's bring on this arrow, so double click to open this, select this arrow, press S, let's make this 0 initially, create one keyframe, go to around 20 frames or let's say 1 second, let's make this 100, select those keyframe and hit F9. Then we will select this arrow, I'll move this over here, press P, create one keyframe and go few frame forward, create another keyframe, go to the start and press V and let's bring this over here like this. Let's go over here, select this, create one keyframe over here, hit page down button 2 times, create another keyframe, hit page down button 1 times and let's make this 90. So we will get this kind of stuff. Let's select this and let's move this over here. So if I see this animation, I'll get something like this. Now select those scaling and keyframes like this, go to the graph, select this by holding shift, I'll move this over here and move this over here. Okay, let's select those keyframe and let's try to move this over here and move this over here like this. Okay, so if I see this thing, I'll get this kind of stuff. And if you want then you can move those keyframes over here also, so it will look something real. Press F4, select all of them and enable the motion blur for this. Also go to the laptop, press F4 and enable the motion blur. Go over here and let's see, we will get something like this. Then we will animate this human icons over here, so double click to open this, go to the start, press P, create one keyframe over here and go to around let's say 1.10 frames and I'll bring them over here, go over at the start and let's bring them over here like this. So if I see this, I'll get something like this. Select this last keyframe and let's move to let's say 1.10 frames. I'll get something like this. Okay, now select all of them, go to the effect and presets panel and we will apply one effect called wiggle position. So double click to apply. So along with this animation we will get some wiggle animations over here. So if I see, I'll get something like this. Now what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select this human icon and I'll move this over here. Now double click to open this comp, alt click on the stopwatch and type loop out expression on it. Select this expression, hit Ctrl C, alt click over here, hit Ctrl V like this. Select all of them, enable motion blur and click on this icon. We'll get something like this. Now after that what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna select this composition, I'll select my pen tool and I'll create one mask like this on this one. Let's select this point and move this over here, press M, go to the mask of properties and let's increase the faders to 30. So I'll get something like this. Okay, now if I see, I'll get this animation in repeat format. So after that, at this point I'll select this comp, I'll hit Ctrl D and I'll move this over here. So now I'm gonna get this animation again and again and again like this. Okay, hit U. Let's animate this coin thing first. So let's go inside this coin, I'll select this coin and this coin, I'll go to the Windows Animation Composer, then I'll go to the transition presets, I'll go to the 2D layer transitions, I'll enable the scale and I'll apply overshoot scale from to these two animations. Let's go to the start, let's bring this over here. So if I see, I'll get this animation. Then I'll select this and I'll simply hit delete. I'll select this, I'll hit Ctrl D to duplicate it. I'll bring this over here, select both of them, hit Ctrl D, bring them at the top. Let's move this over here, select all of them, uh, select all of them, hit Ctrl D, let's bring them at the top and let's bring them downwards like this. And let's delete this last two. like this. Let's go over here. Yeah, let's bring this coins downwards. Let's see where our ground is. Okay, let's double click to open this. Now select those coins, go to the start. Let's enable this icon so we will only see this. Press P for position, create one keyframe, go to around 20 seconds, create another keyframe, go to 1 second and again create one keyframe, and in middle of that I'll bring this over here like this, and at the start I'm gonna move this over here. Then select those keyframe and hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this, holding shift, move this handle over here, select this and move this handle over here like this. Okay, select this much portion, go to the graph editor, zoom in a little bit, select this, move this over here and this over here like this. So now what I'm gonna do, obviously the lower one it's gonna first, so hit page down button 2 times, select this, move this over here, and we will adjust it one by one like this. So if I see this animation, I'll get something like this, and along with that obviously we have this 2 coins animation. Okay, then our ground is already there, so but if you want then you can animate this ground also. Press S, unlink this, create one keyframe, go to 1 second, create another keyframe, go to the start, let's make this 0, select those keyframe, hit F9, go to the graph editor, select this graph and adjust it like this. Okay, then we have this extra stuff. For that what I'm going to do, simply double click, sorry, now select this what we call petals, press Y, bring this anchor point over here, select this and bring this anchor point over here, and I'll select both of them and I'll apply wiggle rotation effect on it, so we will get some kind of rotation over here, and let's bring them downward. Now select all the remaining ones and apply wiggle position effect on it, so we will get continuous animation for them. And now I'm going to select all of them, I'll apply this animation composer effect called overshoot, and so we will get this kind of effect. Now hit page down button 2 times, so it will go few 2 frame forward, select all of them, alt close bracket, right click, keyframe assistant, sequence layers and hit OK, and let's bring this comp up to here like this, so we will get this kind of animation. Now we have to animate one by one like this. First I want this laptop animation to start happen, then this coin animation, and then this extras like this. So if I see this animation now, let's move this arrow thing over here. Okay, so if I see this animation from the start, I'll get something like this, and if I go to my main animation comp, I'll hit Ctrl Y, I'll create one solid background, and if I see this animation over here, I'll get this continuous animation, and I'll hit N over here. So if I see this animation now, I'll get this kind of stuff. So yep, this is how with the help of Adobe Illustrator and Adobe After Effects you can create this kind of vector animation. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial, and if you like this tutorial then please consider to subscribe this channel and also hit the bell icon to get more updates. And if you want to create some more interesting animations like this, then check out these 2 videos. I'll see you in my next video. Until then, stay tuned.